Hey everybody, I wanted to do a background video on just why I'm into Halloween so much and how I kind of got started, building props and stuff like that. Like I mentioned, I live in Florida. I was born here, moved to Wisconsin for 4 years, moved back here when I was 6 years old. And when we moved back that first Halloween, it was right after I turned 7, was the one that kind of sticks out in my mind, one of the most, just because, maybe because we had just moved back and we were in a new house and we wanted to kind of celebrate each season, Christmas time and Halloween time, like really big. We went and bought a decent amount of props, and it was a new neighborhood to trick-or-treat into, so that was pretty fun. And I just, I remember thinking it was so cool that, the few horror movies I had ever seen, like Gremlins and Friday the 13th and stuff like that, that those were obviously creepy to me as a kid, and I could do creepy stuff like that at my own house and scare people. And I just remember I had that, like, connection where it was like, I was putting on a play almost, for people to come see. First year was, just little pumpkins and stuff like that, but I would say about 3 years later or so, and I was about 10 years old, 10 or 11, me and my dad made like our first home-built prop, and it was a hangman. It was just a bucket of sand that we put up on the roof and tied a stuffed clothes man, newspaper and a bunch of clothes, and just hung them from the side of the roof and put blood all over them. And I know it's a pretty morbid first prop for a 10-year-old to want to make, but that's what that was what was in my head at that time. That tells you something about me. But we built maybe one or two things over the next few years after that. Nothing major. I just kept adding on small little things. My parents had a bunch of stuff from like in the 70s and 80s that was really cool, like really old masks, and I know I would kind of just set the old masks and stuff out on like the mailbox or whatever at Halloween. And when I would say I was about 12 or 13, I remember I would get money for my birthday. My birthday is right in September, so it's close enough where I could get money and then put it aside and then know that, Halloween was coming up. So towards, the second, third week of September, I would be calling Target and Kmart and places like that, just asking, hey, do you have your Halloween aisle set up yet? What do you what do you got? And I would actually, as a kid, be asking, what products and stuff they had in. And then I would beg my dad, all right, can you drive us down, drive me and my friends down, on the weekend, and, I'll go spend my 20 or 30 bucks that I had saved up. And then that led to being 14, 15, 16. I would ride my bike as far as I could go, to as many stores as I could go, even like Walgreens and CVS and Eckerd's, and just load up on Halloween stuff and then ride my bike all the way back, which I remember one year it had rained so bad when I had rode to a store that when I left and was going back, the streets were so flooded, and I had Halloween props and bags up on my shoulders and trying to go through a intersection with cars coming through and water up to almost my waist, and yeah, that kind of sucked. But it just shows the dedication for Halloween props and the love of trying to add stuff to a haunt. But and then obviously about 17, 18, I got a job. One of my first jobs, I think it was my third job, was actually at Party City. I remember I only worked there one season, and at age 17, 18, right around there, I remember it was totally cool because the whole staff was about that age, so it was all just goofing around and being weird, and a lot of naughtiness going on in the back room. But they they were run a little bit more strict. I just remember the attitude was sort of negative during the Halloween season. Like, you know, obviously you're trying to make sales and that kind of stuff, but they really hated the competition spirit and, you know, any other company, and that was like their main thing. Like, we had a chart in the back room that, you know, was every week we had to meet that goal, and they would, you know, if we didn't meet it, you know, they would give us this big lecture and stuff. But granted, that was probably just that one store, and I'm not saying every Party City is a piece of crap, so I apologize to Party City employees. But I ended up spending all of my pay, though, at Party City that year. And I bought probably $500 in props, and I remember my store manager got a call from the district manager wondering why we were sold out of like all the nice $200, $250 pieces that we kept getting in. And he said, well, one of the employees bought them all, and the district manager wasn't too happy because I was getting my employee discount, so I was saving $100 almost on a couple of things, and they kind of put a stop to me buying some of the bigger stuff. But either way, that was cool. That year, when I was just like, I think 18, was the first year that I did a more interactive display, not just decorating my front yard, but I put effort for people, you know, for people to actually have to come up and kind of walk through it a little bit. And then there was a break for about 2 years. I ended up working on Halloween, and it just kind of put a hold to, you know, to the whole growth of the haunt. And it wasn't until I was about 20, 21 until I really like put force all back into it, and continued on with extending, you know, the walk through, and it went from, you know, a 10 or 15 foot little walk path to now it's like a couple 100 feet, you know, up around the front door and out into like this woods area and down the path. And I'm going to do an outdoor video at my parents' house, so you guys kind of get an idea of, you know, what it looks like during the day and where it all goes. But that's about it. I mean, just sort of a history of, you know, where my haunt has come from. And if you have any questions, you know, let me know. I'm sure there's a ton of stuff I missed, but see you later.